How come you stopped coming to Highfields Centre and then left?
Yeah, so as I said already, we stopped because of the
Yeah,
small volunteer
the
base and
volunteer.
all of those sorts of things, and also because of the repetitiveness. Really, the children we were working
Yeah,
with, they grew up to a certain age. Once they get to sort of older age in school, exams, those
yeah.
sorts of things
So,
coming away. So there was a lack of kind of people engaging, and also there was burnout probably from the volunteers. And the repetitiveness of just providing football, became a bit of a challenge. And a number of volunteers had, life events, families, young children. So it was difficult to get commitment. And that was one of the biggest things we learned, that, without manpower, without the resource, because you're giving up 2 hours of your time every week for not being paid,
yeah,
but for the betterment of the youth in the area. It's really important that you find like-minded volunteers that are willing to engage, and that's one of the key improvements that we've got. We've now got, about 25 active volunteers, possibly a few more, and the variety of activities that we do. So, 2014, Kidma organisation. I don't know if you know of Kidma
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
organisation.
yeah,
They organised the
yeah,
annual youth event,
Yeah.
the Kidma event. They were responsible for the management of Mudney School, Mudney High
yeah. Money
Yeah.
School.
High School.
And they said, look, come and have a slot on a Sunday or a Saturday at the school and get your sessions started again. So back in sort of late 2014, early 2015, we restarted Mudney. We restarted our weekly sessions, but it was at Mudney. And obviously, again, we grew the children that we engaged with, and we were getting 40, 50, 60, 70 children every week coming to play football. We were organising trips for them, again, number of residentials. Um, took them, annual beach trips, Wembley trips. We went Parliament again. We took them to Heights of Abraham, all these various other trips. They're all available. There are pictures and those sorts of things are available. We were engaging with families. We were taking them Waterworld, all these sorts of things. But Kidma were instrumental in getting us back up and running again, through their encouragement and support. We started again on Sundays between 11 and 1, regular football activities for different age groups on a weekly basis. Very informal, And then in late 2015, I think we decided that we were going to use some of the children that we had that came regularly to enter a football team into the league. So at that time, we were supported by CFA. Again, you might know of
Yeah.
CFA, community football charity that works across the city. They supported us in getting a team affiliated within the league. So that was our first. I think the first league match was against Markfield, and I think Shubaan under 13s. Those same children that were coming to the regular Sunday sessions became, actively engaged in the league football. We lost 5-4, but we carried on with those same children. So we had extra volunteers that were dedicating themselves to managing the football side, and we were still running the Sunday sessions aside from that. So that's kind of how we've developed. So it's not just about the weekly football, because we still do that. So if you come to on a Sunday, Mudney 11 to 1, we still have football, the young children from sort of 7 up to about 14. And then obviously if you come on Friday, we've got children that, the older ones that come on a Sunday, they'll come on the Friday. And then you see a lot of our older children that they're the ex-football team, or the ones who used to come to the centre or to Mudney, and as they've got older, they still want to engage. So, sometimes people think, how do you attract such a large volume of children? It's because we've worked with them through the ages. Do you understand? And that relationship that you build up with young people, they know who you are, they trust who you are, they've engaged with you from a young age. So you get that level of loyalty from them that they want to come and have a safe space to socialise. So that's how we've kind of become, so to the point that last week, we had 90 young people in,
Yeah.
in the centre. And I don't think there's anywhere in the city that attracting 90 young people. I don't know what the numbers are today. I'm sure I'll find out eventually. But to attract 90 young people from the area to come and spend a couple of hours in the youth provision that's available here It's absolutely amazing. You know, it's much needed. It obviously tells you that. You know,
Yeah.
and at the moment, politically and funding for youth provision is diminished. You know, it's very small, and if it ain't for charitable funds and small grants that you're available, you're very limited in what you can do.
So how do you come up with the name Shubaan? Like, where did that come from?
Again, because I wasn't involved in the sort of development of Shubaan at the very early stage, my understanding is that Shubaan in Arabic means youth. So, the idea was that we would say Shubaan is youth. So I guess Shubaan is the Arabic term for youth. So when you say Shubaan Youth Group, it's youth group, if you translate it. But Shubaan is a name, and that's, so yeah, its meaning is youth. So that's how they came up with it.
How come you're only based in Highfields? Like, why not other areas like Evington?
Again, it goes down to resource. It comes down to volunteers. It comes down to time. I think as somebody who's lived in Highfields all his life, I grew up in this area. Most of our volunteers, lived and grew up in this area. The idea is to give something back to our area, the youth of our area, to ensure that the next generation and the next generations to come, there's a betterment on their part. So, we are first generation, firstborn in this country. My parents came from India. Most of the volunteers were in the same position. You guys, I think there's probably second, and in some instances third generation, British, Asian, Muslims that come to the youth group. And it's important that we continue to develop as a community, and obviously over the years, the makeup of the community has changed as well. There's an element of gentrification where new arrivals have come, and some of the older people that grew up in this area have kind of moved out. But nonetheless, those people continue to provide time into this area, So that's why we only work in Highfields, because we're obviously associated with it. Our roots are here, our families are here, and we know the area, we know the people that live in the area, and we know the issues that affect the area. They're very different to maybe different areas of the city, because the diversity of those areas will be very different to here. But that's not to say we haven't worked with other communities. When we were here back in 2005, right up to 2012, there was an influx of Somali community that came from either Europe or direct from Somalia, who were affected by the war. So a lot of our attendees at the time were from the Somalian community. The idea was to integrate them with the existing kind of, Asian community, the Muslim community, Gujarati mainly, And then when we moved to Mudney in the sort of mid-2000s, we saw a large influx of young French European nationals. They came over from France. They were either Moroccan or Algerian heritage, and again, the idea was to integrate those into, that was really key. So, so we have worked with other communities. We aren't constituted as a specific Muslim group, but because of the area that we work in, the majority of the attendees are of a particular faith. But we're open to all. We've never kind of sort of not allowed others to come in. It's always been an open space for anybody to come, and we do get people of all faiths and none come and use our services.
Where do you see this going in, say, the next 5-10 years?
So I think what I'd like to see in the next 5-10 years is the likes of you guys sitting around a table, developing yourselves, not only through enjoying the provision that's been provided, but hopefully becoming more actively engaged. And as you get older, and you reach an age where you can volunteer.
Yeah, in 5-10 years, we'll be too old for
absolutely,
this.
When you can develop into sort of taking over, we'd be quite happy to pass the reins on to you guys, and you guys can be the ones that sort of deliver for the next young people that come, into the area. That's what we'd like to see. So, that's hopefully what we can do, and that would be our legacy. So make sure that you guys can do the same.
I think that's it for this week.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Adam.
everyone for
Thank you,
listening.
Mr. Gill.
Thank you.